Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Ruin Snow and we're going to explore the top 10 cards with casting cost 0. And we're not going to be including any Black Lotus or any of the Moxes in this series because obviously those Power 9 cards are basically going to be not included in this top 10. So what are actually, if you're going to think about it, what are good cards that cost 0 other than the Moxes? So let's explore the top 10. And now at number 10. And at number 10, the first of the series we have is Gustas Scepter. It's a card from the Alliance, and it's a rare. And as like I said, all these cards cost 0. The reason why it's here, if you can read the description, it says, if this leaves play or you lose control of it, put all cards under this scepter into your graveyard. So its ability is you can put any card from your hand face down under the scepter, and we look at the card at any time if you tap it. And then if you tap this artifact again, you can return any card under the scepter to your hand. So it's a very effective card if you have something that makes cards discard from your hand. You can use the scepter if you put it into play, and you can hide that card under the scepter as soon as you can. And this is why it's at number 10. So let's move on to number 9. And at number 9 we have Manicrypt. It's actually a promo card from the magazine called The Gatherer, which is actually a very impressive magazine at the time, which I like. And I wouldn't say it's rarity, I'd call it a special rarity because it doesn't really have a rarity. It's just from the magazine. And it says during an upkeep, you flip a coin. Opponent calls heads or tails. While the coin is in there, you flip it ends up. An opponent's fair, it deals 3 damage to you. But hey, if it ends up to you, look at that. It says add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. Play this ability as an interrupt. I don't know why. Of course it would be. But anyway, so adding 2 colors for 0 mana can be very impressive with that artifact each upkeep. Then again, it can earn 3 damage to you each turn, which also has a huge payback. Is it worth it having that 2 extra colorless mana? It could be, especially if you're doing an artifact deck and you want to get them out right away. Especially you can put 3 manicrypts out right away. That's 6 mana, but again, that's 6 times 3, right? Is how much damage? Sorry, 3 damage per card. Anyway. So let's move on to number 8, which we have the good old card Delph's Cone from the greatest series of all, Fallen Empires, and it's a common. And it says, if target creature you control attacks and is not blocked, you may choose to gain its power in life. If you do so, it deals no damage to opponent this turn, which can make this card very good and very bad depending, again, with most cards on how you want to play it. Maybe you want to attack with that 12/12, sacrifice this cone, and gain all that life. Maybe you have that card with you have 50 life and you win the game. Could be perfect. Who knows? And the saying is kind of pretty cool. It says, where it is written, the beast must cause pain. Question mark? I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. And I actually really like the artwork done by this Mark Tedden guy on this card. But we're not here to talk about that. So let's move on to number 7. And at number 7, we have Frixion Walker. That's it. Just a 0/3 artifact creature from the Vision series, and it's a common. What more can we say? It's a 0/3. You can stop all aggro decks for that 0/3. Hey, and if you got cards that want to pump up that artifact creature, cost 0, you can do whatever you want with that mana. It's free. It costs 0, and I love that. There you go. So it's a good old card that you can stop quick aggro decks, and it's a 0/3. So let's move on to number 6. At number 6, we have Tormod's Crypt from the Dark, and it's an uncommon. And as you can see, all it does is says remove all cards in target player's graveyard from the game. Obviously, this is not going to be what you want in your opening hand right away because that would be quite useless. But again, with the current state of Magic, this card would be excellent in removing the cards from that graveyard so people can't play from the graveyard at all, which is really good. But again, at the time, this might not be very useful because at the time when this was released, not a lot of cards could be used from the graveyard. So it's really based on, again, like most things, based on how you want to build a deck, and that's why it's at number 6. So let's move on to number 5, which we have the card Zuram Orb, and it's from Ice Age, and it's an uncommon. As you can see, the picture is not from Ice Age, it's from another series. And well, I just actually like this picture more. That's the reason why I'm not showing the Ice Age picture. And the ability says, sacrifice a land and you gain 2 life. Wow, that's really good. I really like that card. And there are a lot of decks that can be used with this Zuram Orb, getting you basically infinite life if you know how to play the Magic world. And I think that's really cool. And like I said, I really like this picture. That's why this one's up and not the Ice Age one. And I like the saying too, I will go to any length to achieve my goal. Eternal life is worth any sacrifice. Impressive. Very good saying. So let's move on to number 4. And at number 4, we have Spellbook, and it's from various sets, primarily from 7th, 8th, and up. And it's an uncommon, and it says you have no maximum hand size, and that's very impressive. You can do a lot when you don't have a maximum hand size. So let's keep drawing cards. You can have 15 cards in your hand and just play them all at once if you can. Well, depending on the land and so forth. But I really like this card. You don't have no maximum hand size. You can make so many decks with this card, and I'm surprised that it's an uncommon. It should be a rare, personally, I think. But there are so many other cards. So let's move on to number 3. And then we have Mox Opal. Most people won't agree with me. This card from Scars of Mirrodon, and it's a mythic rare, is that I don't actually think it's really good. It's at number 3 because I know everyone I know thinks this card is really good. It says, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Activate this ability only if you control 3 or more artifacts. So, like, you need 3 artifacts? I guess if you're running like an all artifact deck that costs 0, and I don't know. I just I don't thought this should be at number 3 because if you have a lot of artifacts, it costs nothing. So basically, you get a land and bring this out. You get 2 mana for the price of 1. That's why it's at number 3. So let's move on to number 2. And at number 2, we have Memnight from Scars of Mirrodon. And believe it or not, it's an uncommon. I thought this would be a rare, but it's not. It costs 0 for just a 1/1 creature. That's it. You get a free 1/1. That's why I think this card is very impressive. Nothing. It costs nothing for that 1/1. How can you not put that in a deck? Anyway, that's why it's at number 2. It just costs nothing for that 1/1. So let's move on to number 1. At number 1, we have, that's right, Lion's Eye Diamond from the Mirage series, and it's rare. It says, sacrifice the diamond, discard your hand, add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool. Play this ability as a mana source. Wow. 3 mana, and you just sacrifice your hand? If you know, you can make 1-turn kill decks with this card. This is why it's at number 1. It's very impressive. I love this card. It is the best card, I think, in Mirage, and that's why it's there. So if you enjoy this top 10, there's other videos you can watch, and I hope you guys have a good day and a good evening.